welcome back to Freak More Paranormal, and this is Route 66 in 6 months. Today episode, I'm in Catoosa, Oklahoma. We're at this crazy place. It's called the D.W. Correll Rock Museum. So let's take an adventure inside, see what they got for us, and check this place out. I'm with our tour guide, and I'm going to let him tell his name and show us around this place.
I'm Eric Hampshire. I'm the director of the D.W. Correll Museum in Catoosa, Oklahoma.
Cool.
We have two large buildings, about 10,000 square feet of display space here. We've got a lot to see. Rocks, minerals, fossils, bottle collection, antique toys, die-cast cars, shells and coral. We've got a rock shop and gift shop. We've got Fluorescent mineral display. We've got wagons, surreys, antique automobiles.
Oh wow, that's a lot.
We've got a lapidary shop where they've got all trucks, so we can do some teach people to do things.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So it sounds like a definitely
Lots going on.
sounds like a cool stop on this Route 66. I'm doing the passport tour, so
Yes.
I thought, man, let's wait to give these people something to, watch and give them a reason to come out and do this tour and stop by. So show us around, show us what we got here.
All right. So this is the start of building number one. Start here with the gift shop and the rock shop. Lots of great things for sale here. A little bit of something for everybody, especially if you like rocks.
That is actually pretty neat. Are a lot of these rocks they found locally, or are they here and stayed, or?
All over the world, but there are a lot of things here that were found locally. A lot of the polished rocks are things we have polished right in our lapidary shop. Got here.
Wow. These are actually really neat looking. It's a lot of different rocks.
Definitely.
Different coral look like, and crystal.
Try to keep it a nice variety and always adding new things, so give people a reason to keep coming back.
Wow. So what are these? What type of rocks what do they do with these? These just a certain type?
So we've got Mozartite here. That is the Missouri State rock. It's a type of chert, which is a hard quartz material. Tends to have these kind of pinks and purples in the rock. So they're nice to cut and polish to make jewelry or other displays out of. Yeah, so sitting here in the den, which is an igneous rock that's not found in Oklahoma. The den's getting low because I can't just go up the road and find stuff.
Go get it. Oh wow, and geode's down there.
Geode's down there. Oklahoma has a lot of fossils, so we do have a lot of different kinds of fossils here that we sell. And, one of the easier things for local rock hounds to go out and actually find themselves.
That's a lot of different rocks. So what's back here in all these cases?
Okay, so as we move back this direction.
Go ahead, I'll just follow you around.
Sure. Let's see what we got. Model ships over here, and their model ships are sort of here and there around the museum because I don't have a full case to really dedicate to. Too much stuff.
Oh, I'd be nervous having these things out with like children coming here. I'd be like, don't touch these.
Well, they've survived okay thus far, and
that's neat.
The kids certainly do enjoy.
It looks like that takes a lot of time to put together.
Yes, well, I did not build any of the ships here. They were either bought or were donated.
That is cool. All right, well, like I said, I'm going to follow you so you can show us around. And
on this side, we've got coral, sponges, shells, starfish, pufferfish, all kinds of sea life.
sea lions. Or seahorse, sorry.
No. And a lot of these things you cannot collect anymore. They're protected these days, but these were collected many, many years ago. And so makes good display. Not a lot of places in Oklahoma where you can go and see these kinds of things.
Man, some of these shells I've never even seen. Like these ones with the spikes on them and stuff. Right. I'm like, this is...
Yeah, they evolved in such a way to have those protective spikes on them and keep maybe octopus and things like that from eating them.
With different predators, that's neat.
Seems like that'd be pretty effective.
Yeah, it would. You're not eating me, take this. Some of these, like how they spiral, is just neat. Whoa, what is this big old thing?
That is a piece of galena, which is a lead ore. It is from the tri-state mines, which are northeast Oklahoma, southeast Kansas, southwest Missouri.
Okay.
The mines are all closed now, but for about a century, starting in the 1870s, that was the leading lead and zinc producing field in the world. In fact, most of that ammunition our soldiers were firing in the World Wars, came right out of the ground
in that area.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that at all.
Pitcher, Oklahoma was one of the big centers of that, and now Pitcher, Oklahoma they had to move everyone out of there. That was the lead contamination from that mining process. So,
man, which is crazy because here in like 2 weeks I'm heading up to Veneta and Miami area, and then we're stopping in Pitcher to make an episode there. So
we'll be going right through that area and all those chat miles that go on and on and on. That's what they were mining for there. That's the lead ore.
That's crazy how it came out of Oklahoma.
Yeah. And galena is about 85% pure lead. It's a very easy to smelt. You could do it on a campfire.
Really?
Get your lead and your lead balls or whatever.
Pretty easy to melt down, and
yeah.
That's wild. That's crazy. And the whole town of Pitcher's a ghost town now.
That's right.
I remember growing up, and 'cause I went to high school here in Catoosa, and I remember like seeing Pitcher on the TV and in the news, like their football team's playing. And now knowing the town's just a ghost town and shut down, it's weird.
Yeah.
So I don't even know how I'm gonna act when I go out there.
Yeah, in the early days of Oklahoma, that was one of the big cities. Was definitely a center for commerce and industry.
That's a big old piece of petrified.
It is petrified wood. That's right. Keep it on the cart there so it can be moved around easily.
Oh my gosh, I bet that looks heavy. I bet it is heavy.
It's very heavy. Yeah. Not as heavy as the lid though.
What is this?
They call it a Venus flower basket. It has these sort of, it's an animal, but it has these sort of mesh construction that allows it to filter plankton out of the sea.
Okay.
That was its food source.
It's a lot of different sea life.
That's right.
Wow. Cool. This is so neat. This is like, what is this? What's this? This teeth? Tusk? Bones?
These are bone tools, or remnants of bone tools, all found in the Arkansas River.
Like Native American type.
Correct. These would have been used over the millennia, dating as far back as possibly 10,000 BC.
It's neat how they've even got them carved out where they could use them, you know, for certain things. You can tell that they
Yeah, a lot of
given
these
thought.
were handles. You can see here is there's a punch. That would have been for punching holes in leather for making clothes or boxes or something like that.
That's really neat.
Mastodon tusk there.
Wow. So how did what's the guy that owns this or that started this?
Well, D.W. Correll was the fellow who started it, and it was his private collection. He collected the things that he liked, and he did not stop until he passed away in 1999.
And he does this is amazing. Just it's everything.
A little bit of everything. Now, some of these things have been donated or are on loan. Not everything in here belongs to our founder, but the bulk of it did. And we have tried to stay within his themes, the things that he liked. And the only major deviation from that is the model ships. And I have to say that was my contribution to this collection because it's something that I really enjoy.
Wow. Yeah, so this is definitely not a museum to sit there and just rush to go through then.
Right. Yeah.
This is one that you definitely need to take time.
You could rush if you live nearby and you're going to make multiple trips. You do a little bit at a time.
Yeah, that's why I was already thinking. I was like, I'm going to have to come back and really go through all this really carefully.
Yeah, because
it's already a lot.
To see here, yeah.
I went and filmed the other day at the J.M. Davis Gun Museum, and what I thought would end up being like a 30-minute episode was like well over an hour. Yeah, I had like 3 hours worth of footage, and so what everybody gets to see on YouTube is like an hour and 12 minutes.
Sure.
It was too much.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
And I went there as a kid, but going back there as an adult, there was just so much to see.
Sure.
And just overwhelming. And then the guy's collection is like, when you're a kid, you don't realize, you know, what the stuff really is. And then as an adult, you're looking at it as like, man, this is fascinating. You realize what it took to get this, you know.
The history attached to each one of those guys.
Well, even just like these rocks, it's just like you see some of these corals and these crystals, and you realize that they've came out of like caves and the ocean, and just the people that had to go to the depths and plan the trip to go get it.
Yeah.
It's just
a lot of manpower went into
just the story just to get that rock.
Yeah, that's right.
Is every single one of these, I mean, even if they're found just walking along some path, there's still a story why they went for a walk.
Sure.
You know, it's everything here has a story.
That's true.
It's neat looking, almost look like a city. Like a Petra or something. That was like really neat. Fossil. Never seen one that size. It's cool.
When you get to the next row, you'll see even bigger.
Okay. Man, well, let's get to the next row. Some of these are just beautiful how they're polished. Or now, are they polished, or once you cut them, do they look like that?
These are polished. Yeah. And the polishing in itself is a lot of work.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh shoot, there's our state rocks.
State rock, rose rock, which is actually is a mineral and not really a rock.
Is it really? I didn't know that.
Leave it to Oklahoma to have
mineral for a rock.
a mineral for a state rock.
I think our secondary song's by AC/DC anyway. You know, which is crazy. Okay, what's down here? You said this is. Holy smokes. Shoot, dog, man, that thing is
Quartz,
huge.
all different kinds of quartz in here.
So when did DW start collecting all this, you said?
I think he started with rocks in the 50s. I think that's when he started really with cards too. That's when he had some disposable income at that point that he could spend on the things he really liked. Once he got started, he never stopped.
into a cool addiction. It's better than other things, I guess.
Certainly. Keeps you young and healthy out looking for rocks.
Right. Just the journey and everything that you get to see doing this, I bet would be cool.
And great for the mental health. Let me tell you, to be surrounded by this stuff every day.
I think it probably would be.
It's great. Puts a smile on my face every time I come in here.
Come in, and it's so peaceful. I don't think I would ever, I mean, you could probably look at this stuff 1,000 times over every day if you worked here, but it would still be new. You could still find something new about it.
Yeah. It's so extensive that, there's sometimes I'll forget that we had certain things. And so, I enjoy looking at the collection myself. So we talked about the tri-state mines.
Yeah.
This is a tri-state mine display we've got here. There's basically photographs of the miners. Tough men, certainly working under some really rough conditions, working long hours under the ground, sacrificing their eyesight and their lungs to make that happen.
Was that the mine here in Catoosa?
No, this would have been probably.
Oh, that tri-state. That's the one up there around Pitcher and stuff.
And some of the tools they would have used. So there's a hard hat, early hard hat, and the soft cap. The miners in the early days, they just had a soft cap. They didn't have any real protection. What they had for light was just a little oil rig lamp, which produced a pretty dull light, and so it was really hard on their eyes.
Dude, those guys were tough
all that time.
There was some tough dudes back then.
And we have carbide lamps here, which was a major improvement. Carbide plus water equals acetylene gas, and acetylene makes a nice bright flame. So big improvement. Of course, they use battery-powered lights these days, but the mining is much less labor-intensive because we have all kinds of equipment, big machinery that does a lot of that these days.
I bet there's a lot of people that's going to be watching this video that don't even know what this stuff is.
Right.
Why it's history, y'all learn. Listen, this guy, he's telling us, I'm learning things. I'm totally learning things. Like, I was walking by when I was just filming that, and I'm like looking at those lamps, and I thought, were those for pictures? Because it reminded me like a flash bulb.
Sure.
And realized that when you're like, hey, that's a lamp, and I'm looking at it and realized that's all they had, people. I mean, and these are maybe 3 inches, 4 inches tall. This big one's probably 5 to 6 inches. But that's all they had for light.
The smaller ones were designed to hook right onto the front of
the bill of the hat. Okay. Oh, I see it right there.
See the hole there and
down there in the bottom.
Just had a little hook, just hook it right in there, and that way you can see while you're working.
Hundreds and maybe thousands of feet up underneath the ground, and that's the only light they had.
Right.
Golly.
Day after day after day. Down in a hole.
What a horrible job. I wouldn't want that. I would not want that.
Breathing the rock dust. Terrible. Terrible for the lungs. Those guys didn't have long lives, and they were hard lives.
Golly. I don't even want to think about it. Right. You know,
we're pretty spoiled these days.
Because, you know, Catoosa's a mining town. They've got the mine shafts up underneath here. And I've even thought all the way, you know, as a kid, I'm thinking, who all's left down there? You know, there's got to be somebody that's died down there that couldn't get to a cave-in or something. Get all the toy stuff here in a second. These rocks are just, they're unique. They're different. I don't know what half of these are at all. Actually, I don't know none of them. But it's just...
Well, this is the place to learn.
It definitely is. I'm like... Whalebone fossil. There's more whalebones. Core drillings. Wow. Piece of dinosaur bones.
we've got over here what is called coprolite.
What's coprolite?
Coprolite is fossilized dung.
Are you serious?
I am serious. So some of these bigger ones would have been dinosaur dung. It's been fossilized for millions of years.
Even pieces of crap are worth something.
Yeah, and some of
That
it's quite
is
beautiful.
crazy. That actually is. That's,
Reds and yellows in there.
that's weird to say that about poop,
Yeah,
you know, but it's like,
and they make jewelry out of that stuff.
do they really? I bet it's expensive.
And it can be a little expensive, but it is beautiful, and it's definitely has a nice story behind it. You know, you always have a conversation piece if you're wearing a piece of fossilized poo on your neck.
Yeah.
Neck.
You piece of crap. No, I'm not. My necklace is.
Yeah.
My necklace is more worth
quite
it.
a large one down there.
Dinosaur poop. That's so cool. Now I want to go try to find some dinosaur poop. I want one.
Well, you probably won't find much in Oklahoma.
Where did they find stuff like that at?
So a lot of that, Utah is a big dinosaur bone and coprolite state. In Oklahoma, we have a little bit of dinosaur stuff in the Panhandle, and then a little bit down very southeast. There's some dino stuff down there. The rest of the state is not the right age geologically to be able to find that stuff.
Okay. So what is this big old piece?
That is a plate of Orthoceros, which is, they were sort of squid-like creatures with a shell. And they would, similar to the ammonites, they're kind of a nautiloid, but with a straight shell rather than the spiral shell.
It's crazy how shiny and it's like they're almost clear.
So those have been, of course, cleaned and polished. That particular plate is from Morocco, which is...
That's a long ways away.
It is a long ways away, but surprisingly very similar types of fossils to what we have here in Oklahoma.
I didn't even realize that we had fossils like this here in Oklahoma.
Ours are usually not quite as pretty as theirs, but it will be a lot of the same species. One of the things that they have that we also have is trilobites, which are relatively rare worldwide, but lots of them in Oklahoma.
I was just say I've still find those out in the yard and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Especially in gravel. I think it's because we got all the gravel pits and stuff around here.
Right, and the gravel, of course, is the limestone, and limestone is a sedimentary rock. And sedimentary rock formed on the bottom of an ocean or a sea, and that's why we have all this marine fossils everywhere.
Got his toy collection here. I have not seen that. I had it as a kid.
Yeah,
oh my gosh. That's the only one I'm still missing at the house. I've got a bunch. I've got my own collection of just weird stuff. But I've got all my lunch boxes when I was a kid, and that's the only one I don't have. This is my Star Wars. Still got my Superman and Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah,
and
that's great. Well, if you ever want to donate them to a museum, you'll know where to donate.
Right. Bring them up here and let everybody take a peek. All the toy guns. Most of these looks like it's from like the 40s and 50s.
Yeah, it really ranges from, well, it's really most of the 20th century is represented here. With the exception of maybe 80s and 90s. I think even some 80s are Barbie car there, I think, is an 80s car.
Definitely Gizmo's a favorite back there. Gremlins. So, what's on the next aisle? So, check this out. Oh, please, for the love of everything, pick up on the Zoom. That is a piece from the very first atomic blast that happened in New Mexico in 1945, July 16th. Before it happened in Hiroshima. That's just history right there. It's a lot of different rocks. Mammoth hair.
Gold. Yeah, only gold we've got in the museum. Tiny little bit.
Tiny little piece. I want to go to that diamond mine over in Arkansas and try that.
Sure. Yeah, every once in a while, somebody finds a pretty good one over there.
Yeah, they do. Every great once in a while, I've seen some people. This little fuzzy one. He said, I was asking him what this is, and he said it is a mineral.
It's a mineral, yep. Each one of those, what looks like little hairs, is actually a crystal.
Oh, is it really?
Yep.
The little hairs are crystals. It's hard to
Very, very fine little crystals.
zoom up into it. This camera started to zoom.
And they're very fragile. They grow inside caves and bugs in the ground. Needs an opening in order to grow.
I think the average person would think it's like a fungus or a bug or something that. Or got the megalodon shark tooth. Fossil wasp nest is cool. Fossil clam from Madagascar. It's just amazing. It's like looking at all this, and each one of these have where it comes from, you know. I mean, it's literally from all over the world. Fossil fish is neat looking. That'd be cool to have on the desk.
Meteorites.
Yeah, that's why I'm just looking at that. I'm like, wow. Thousands of years in space, and somehow it's landed here. I bet some of those have probably got some pretty good weight on them too.
Yeah, the iron meteorites are quite heavy. Yes. Wouldn't want to get hit on the head with one falling from the sky.
So the iron fell in 1516 AD. That's a long time ago. But I like how they're shiny like that, where they've just polished through the heat and space of.
Yeah.
This is a lot of stuff. So what is all this? Just these are these.
So now this is our bottle collection. Balloon bottles.
Like chess piece.
They are size chess pieces.
My grandmother has my grandfather's collection of all the different Avon bottles of the clones. In the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
They get a little stinky, don't they?
They do. They really, really do. Especially when they're dried up. I'm like, man, some of these smell horrible, but I thought the other day, I was like, man, Grandma, why don't you throw these out? And then I was sitting there thinking, no, you probably don't want to throw these out, you know. This is probably something you probably just go sell and make money off of. You're sure there's a collector out there.
They're not real valuable, but they are a piece of history, and there are people that like to collect them.
Oh, this is cool.
Now, the Elvis bottles, they probably are more valuable to us because they are Elvis.
That's the plan. Man, this guy. This collection is very unique and really neat. And these are all just different whiskey bottles?
They are.
These bottles are just the neatest. It's Oklahoma. No, that's not ours, is it? No, 1960. I don't know what that is. I thought it was like an Oklahoma State seal. Fort Phil. The gummies are neat looking. Got the slot machines, like the trains. Actually, the trains are really cool. Indian head. Looks like an Indian motorcycle. I don't know. All whiskey bottles.
Each one of these little figures has a little description on the back of who that is supposed to be, and tells a little bit about it.
These are really neat.
Yeah.
I've never even seen something like that. Those bottles at all. Any of these bottles. That's something like this is. And I've seen a lot of things, but so I'm like, man, there's a lot of this stuff I've never seen. This is impressive. Speaking of cologne bottles,
Avon bottles there, yeah. We had over 1,000 Avon bottles donated at one point. I went through and picked out all of the cars and transportation related ones
and got rid of the rest
I
of them.
donated the rest to another guy because they smelled so bad that you could hardly stand to be in the museum with.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of them. Like these two sit at the house. That one. I know those two are. That and the other day I seen.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my gosh.
And yeah, down here is more whiskey bottles.
These are whiskey bottles too?
Believe it or not, every single one of those is a whiskey bottle.
These big old cars. Oh my gosh, that'd have been cool. Why don't they sell whiskey like that now?
Good question.
That's a good question.
It seems like a great marketing.
I would do it. I mean, look at the police cars, the fire trucks, ambulance.
I'm not sure why, but sometime in the 70s to the 80s, this making these kind of special bottles sort of fell out of fashion.
Go ahead. I'm just gonna take a gander at these. This is, dude, y'all, this is nuts. This is so cool. Every single one of these are whiskey bottles. Every single one's a whiskey bottle. And they're massive. I mean, I thought they were like toy cars or a model car. That is a lot of drink in there. There's too much to look at. Y'all, if like I said on the other videos, if you're taking the Route 66 tour with the passport, you definitely do not want to miss this one. This place is absolutely cool. There is, and this isn't, you're going to have time. You're going to have to stay, stop here. There's a lot to look at here. So y'all definitely got to come here to Catoosa, Oklahoma. Check this place out. Whiskey bottles. I thought those were really hard like cards. I thought those were toys. I don't even drink, but that would be cool just to have them just to collect them. It's just neat. That's just, I really thought they were like toys. That would be great marketing now.
Yep. And one of the things I like about it is it matches the era of cars that we've got in the museums.
Oh, does it really?
To
about to see here shortly. Oh, that's neat. So is this where each one of these were basically, I guess, founded?
That's right, yeah. So we got numbers that correspond to the key over here that tells us what you've got, and then the little guitar strings going to the pins on the map tells exactly where they were found. There's really a lot of beautiful rocks in Oklahoma. You just gotta know where to look.
I'm gonna have to get on my game, y'all. I'm not letting y'all see. I'm getting to look right quick. I'm being stingy. I can't believe they're like some of how they're close to us.
Yeah.
The pretty ones look like they're far away.
All over the state.
So cool. Another model ship here.
There's the Bassa. The Bassa sank on its maiden voyage.
Did it really?
It did. Which, because of that, we can travel to Sweden. We can go and to the museum. See, most of the ship is still intact. They've raised it, put it in the museum, and it is a
Really
beautiful ship.
Wow, that would be neat to see.
But it was poorly constructed, built too top heavy. When they went to turn, the wind hit the sails, went over too far, and they had the gun ports open, and the water rushed in and sank real quick.
A lot of wasted time.
Yeah, that was supposed to be the king's flagship, so when it sank, he was pretty disappointed.
Y'all see on the deck. That's a lot of detail. Those are neat. I've always liked little model ships. Anything. All right, well, let's go check out the other places.
All right. This is our fluorescent mineral display.
Whoa.
We go into this black room. Pull the door shut.
Okay.
And now, kind of get a look at them under the regular light. Some of them are pretty, but maybe not terribly impressive.
This is pretty cool.
But when you push the button here, you're going to go through a cycle of UV lights.
Whoa.
That's a long wave UV. That is sort of your standard black light.
Holy crap. And this is just in these rocks itself?
Yep.
Naturally?
They do that naturally. That's correct.
What? Whoa. Holy crap.
That's a shortwave UV light.
Dude, how did y'all figure this out?
Well, we didn't figure this out. Somebody probably smarter than us a long time ago kind of figured that out, that they did this. And so we have UV lights here so that we can kind of test rocks when we get new stuff.
Y'all can barely see my face. It is like literally pitch black dark in here. There's the rocks. Now you can see me. That is so cool.
Some of them will phosphoresce, which is basically glow in the dark.
Let's see if we can get them glowing. It's hard to see them getting glowed, but some of them are glowing in the dark, y'all. There you go. Turn the light on. Whoa, and it turns that light on. That was a absolute trip. I want something like that in my house.
Definitely. And
this is the coolest, I think one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Can you do that again?
I can.
Yeah.
You can definitely have collections like this in your house.
Oh.
In fact, I know a lady that is in the Tulsa Rock and Mineral Society with me. She's got them in her bathroom. So you can turn the UV lights on in the bathroom. And I guess maybe she sits on the pot and looks at her rocks.
Holy crap. Y'all, the picture that you're seeing on your screen is literally what it looks like in life. This is the strangest and coolest thing I have ever seen. Oh my dude, that is so cool. And I am so nerding out right now. Yeah, that's cool.
Different minerals will fluoresce different colors.
I was trying to get it where it was glowing, y'all. You can barely see it. That little glow in the middle of your screen is the rock. But it was glowing. Then here in a second, these other lights will probably kick on. There they are. Oh my gosh.
And these come from all over the country, some from around the world. Really, anywhere you go in the world, there will be something that will fluoresce like this.
Really?
So it's neat to get, you can get a handheld UV light, go out at night, rock climbing.
No, definitely, because I'm sitting here thinking, since I do paranormal, I'm sitting here thinking, I've got my black light and UV lights that we use on our investigation. So now, y'all, if you see me in the background while Boone's doing an investigation, and I am just with the UV light looking at the ground, I'm looking for these rocks, because I've got to do one of these at my house. I would stick it. I don't know if I would leave it in my bedroom or if I'd put it out in the open where everybody else could see it.
No.
I've never even seen anything like that. So do all rocks do that, or is it just these certain ones?
Certain ones. Yeah, it all depends on what minerals are present.
Yeah, that was cool. Even that one, how they store the light and they glow, that was really strange.
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
Fun stuff.
That was.
I like to say that's a real highlight.
Right? That was absolutely neat. Y'all, that's worth just the stop, let alone. Besides, you definitely got to come here, pick something up at the gift shop, come see all the stuff. I'm only in the first building apparently, so I guess we're about to go into the other ones. But the rock, the glow thing, that was a trip. That's really cool. So yeah, let's go check out the others. So, and this is the gift shop here, and this.
Yeah, this is part of the gift shop here. That's right. The painting there on the wall is our
That was him, huh?
So we thank you, DW, for
right
making all this wonderful stuff for everybody to get a chance to enjoy.
Definitely.
And we thank the city of Catoosa for paying my salary and paying the bills and keeping this place running.
So the Catoosa keeps it running out?
City of Catoosa, yeah.
Dude, okay, I was wondering that because a lot of these, a lot of these museums and stuff like that. So, wow.
Yep, you need some kind of a benefactor to keep these places running. The gift shop helps, of course, but it doesn't cover the whole thing. So.
No, bills are going to be getting expensive. So, if y'all stop here, donate, buy, do something to help these people keep this museum going on. Catoosa's, it's a great family town. There's plenty to do here. Promise you, there's plenty to do in this town. But yeah, let's go check out the other place.
All right. So we do have outside the rock gardens here. This one badly needs to be weeded. I was waiting for some cool weather, so that'll be getting done soon. But rocks, everywhere rocks.
Wow. Yeah, between the heat and then the last couple of days, it's been raining. So it's by the time you do get a chance when it cools down to get any yard work done, it starts raining where you can't.
That's right. That's Oklahoma, though.
Yes, it is. So this was Mr. Correll's or DW's house, huh?
That's right. Yeah, and that's not part of the museum. It's private residence at the moment. But
that'd be
who
neat.
knows? Maybe it'll be added to the museum.
I bet they eventually will probably restore it, and
it would make a neat addition, certainly.
Kind of like the Frank Phillips mansion and stuff like that.
That's
you
right.
know? Oh my gosh! Holy crap!
Wagons and surreys and clays, taxidermy animals.
Slate's
You
cool.
can smell when you come in here. You can smell the cars, the oil. You smell that oil.
It reminds me of it, like being a kid for the nostalgia smell.
Yeah.
That's why I was like,
Old cars have just like new cars have a smell. Old cars have a smell. Old leather and oil and rubber.
wow.
Just to be clear, these are not cars. They don't have oil. These
Yeah,
the cars are in the next room.
the next is over.
We're not crazy.
Not yet. No, not yet. These wagons are just. That's so cool. That'd be neat to own one of these.
Surrey with fringe on top, right?
Right? And y'all have already got to see that episode, so we just filmed that up in Clare.
Yeah, good. Yeah, that's right.
And that was surprising when I walked in there. I was like, is that the one from the movie Oklahoma? She's like, yes. And I was like, the actual one? And she says, this is it. And I was like, wow.
Kind of a big deal.
Like that's kind of like one of the original first Hollywood movie cars, you know, before Back to the Future or anything. It's got his die-cast tractor set here of John Deere, it looked like. Old Fords. Alice Chalmers. Man, this is just a typical dude. That's what he was.
All right.
Enjoyed his life and
Like to play with toys and drink whiskey.
right. Don't sound too bad. Oh wow. Yeah, you go in front of me, you get to explain this. This is I wasn't even looking at I was looking at all the toys.
Yeah. So first car we see here is actually my car. This is a
What?
57 Chevy, 210 4-door.
Oh my gosh. I bet that's fun to drive.
That's my Correll project. It does run well, and I can get it out and drive it, especially now that the weather's cooling off a bit.
Oh my
We're going to
gosh.
get out and do some cruising.
That's what's up.
And that is the newest car in this museum.
I'll have to back up to get that thing in here. It's beautiful.
And I'm thankful to have a place to store it.
Man. Do you drive it often?
When weather's nice, I do. Yeah.
Do you try to get it out?
Yeah.
How long have you had it?
It's been in the family. It was my dad's car. We bought it in '87, I think. And he turned it over to me 6 or 8 years ago.
Dude, that is so
So he's still around, so we still work on it together and cruise together. So it's great. The locomobiles were steam-powered automobiles.
First steam powered automobiles.
So you can see underneath the seat here, the engine. That's a 2-cylinder steam engine.
Are these all the little gauges for the steam, or what are these?
Yeah, correct.
Can I step back on that side and see
You
them?
can, yes. Temperature and pressure gauges. Now this one I have never had out. I never started it. I don't know what the first step would be to do that.
I don't either. I'm like, I don't even know where the key goes.
It's probably going to stay put unless I happen to meet somebody who has a lot of knowledge about these things.
Is that the bell up there on the handle?
That's right.
That's
So no
cool.
steering wheel on this one. It has a tiller, and so use that for turning left and right. Not a bad system, but the faster you get going,
That'd be a little nerve
the
wracking.
more dangerous that becomes.
Man, that'd be fun to drive though.
Yeah.
To drive something like that and be like, man, I've really got to drive one of the very first automobiles.
Right.
Just staying and being in the presence of it is like, it's just odd. You don't see this stuff.
So the fuel for this was kerosene. So it has there's burners underneath. There's a boiler. The kerosene would keep the flames going. That would heat the water in the boiler, which would create steam, and the pressure from the steam is what would drive the pistons.
A 1902 Oldsmobile.
They call it the curved dash folds. Quite rare. This is an original one. You will sometimes see this car as a kit car. Most of them that you see will be from a kit. Not a lot of the original ones survive.
They're so big for having no room.
Right.
1902. What is this purple?
That's a 1906 Cadillac.
That's the caddy.
Yeah. And believe it or not, that is an original color that they used on those cars. Of course, purple is the color of royalty. So maybe that's what they were thinking when they chose that. But it looks nice with the brass,
I was just saying,
lights, and
it does look nice and it's kind of pretty
yeah,
for them how they did it.
yeah.
Those lights.
And these it's another example of carbide. Where we saw the carbide lights with the mining stuff.
So they put oil in this too?
So you've got kerosene running lamps, and then but the headlights or the carbide. There's a little box over here on the side of the car. There. And that, you would put carbide pellets in the bottom, you put water in the top, and when you flip the switch on that, the water would start dripping, and that would create acetylene gas, and the gas would then fed up through a tube to the headlights, which would create nice bright light. Big improvement over kerosene.
It's just the thought of in the concept that they had to come up with that invention to do that, and we've taken it beyond it.
Right.
Is it? But even that's why just everything has a story. That is
And
neat.
one of the fun things about this car and the kids that come through here always love this. Is this wonderful horn?
No way, that's loud too.
It's pretty loud. Yeah.
So that's like that's sounds just like one of the cartoons.
Yeah. There's horses and people in your way. You just.
I was sitting there just I could hear the old the old motors. My grandfather had a 29 Model A that I built for him back in the early 2000s and restored for him. So I'm thinking about hearing, you can literally count those cylinders as they're going through.
And that's especially true on these two cars because these are single cylinder. In fact, if you wanna, we'll go around the back.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
We can.
Sorry if the light's so bright.
I will show you the motor for this thing. It's in the back of the car. It is, as you can see, one large single cylinder chain drive.
It's a big chain too.
And of course, for the single cylinder motors, you needed a large flywheel in order to keep that thing turning properly and in balance. So as far as internal combustion engine goes, this is pretty low tech. But in 1906, that was high tech.
Gravity fed fuel.
Yep, gravity fed. That's right. And this is wood. This part of the car, wood. The body, wood. The fenders are metal. But wood was cheaper to manufacture from, and often was lighter to manufacture with than metal.
What is this?
So this is a little homemade deal. The D.W. Correll made for his two boys back in the late 50s. And I guess you could say an old-fashioned go-kart.
So I was about to say, is this like an old go-kart?
Not real fast, but
I would drive it.
It's fun. It's simple. It runs. We keep it going for parades and such. So I've got to get it going again soon because we'll have the Christmas parade before we know it.
So do these go in a lot of parades like here in hometown?
Certain ones do, yeah.
Holy smokes, this one's huge. Is this
This is a 1914 Oldsmobile.
It's like I
And
thought.
you're right, it's a big jump in size from the other cars we were just looking at.
Oh my gosh. Right hand drive. Look at that steering wheel, how beautiful that steering wheel is.
Cherry wood. A lot of people will ask, well, is this car from England since it is right-hand drive? And the answer is no, it was an American car. But that stuff had not been standardized yet at that point. The roads were just kind of a free-for-all, and there were really no regulations, no rules.
Look at these side glasses. I don't want to touch. I do, but I don't. Like, man. Oh, these would be so much fun to drive.
Very much a luxury automobile. This would have been a lot more expensive than a Model T.
What size motor do these have in them?
So this one has a 6-cylinder.
I didn't know if they started using H yet on these.
And that's the thing that allowed these cars to grow so quickly in size, was the development of these multi-cylinder motors.
Detailing all.
Greatly increased the amount of power that the cars produce. And that's called a triple deuce, because you can see there are actually 3 separate blocks there, each of which is 2 cylinders.
It's a huge manifold.
And they did that because the manufacturing techniques at the time had not advanced far enough that they could cast an entire large block.
I wonder if anybody modern has like turbocharged on these yet. And that's something silly with it, you know?
Probably so. There's you name it, it's been done, right?
Yeah. It's probably one of the YouTubers that's done it or somebody somewhere.
There's nothing new under the sun. Now this blue car here, 1917 Packard 26. This particular car was a few years ago in a movie, a Martin Scorsese movie called Killers of the Flower Moon, that was filmed here in Oklahoma, which was set in from 1915 to 1925. So when they were getting ready to film the movie, I had a guy come in who worked for Scorsese sourcing automobiles, and he just fell in love with this car and had to have it for the movie. So we worked out
car right here.
Yeah, worked out a deal so that they could use it. And there's a scene in the movie where Robert De Niro is sitting in the back of the car, and Leonardo DiCaprio is standing next to the car, and they're
having a conversation over
fighting over the will
of Molly now.
Yeah, Ernest Burkhart's will, and of course Ernest knew that well, if I sign my will over to you, that means you're planning to kill me.
Yeah, I'm dead.
And so he didn't want to do that.
Yeah, that whole story is amazing. And by the way, y'all, if you haven't seen Killers of the Flower Moon Part 1 and Part 2, go find it on my channel. That's where I go out to Molly's grave at Gray Horse, go through Fairfax. I'm in Pawhuska. That whole episode is really strange, really cool. Part 2 is when I'm in the historic Whiting Hotel, but now here we are with one of the cars that's been used on the movie. This is really, it's kind of special to me now. It's like, I've worked so hard for y'all for that episode, but this is, wow, because I know exactly when you're saying that, I'm like replaying the scene in my head. I'm like, no way. I had no idea that that's a hometown car right here, you know? That's cool.
And the headlights on that thing are
That's what I was looking at.
For whatever reason, they didn't get a shot of the headlights. I really thought, boy, Scorsese missed out. He missed an opportunity.
That's why I kept like
Headlights.
keep looking at them. Oh, they are. You can feel them. So did they have to repaint it, or was it already painted like that?
It was already painted like that.
So they were like, "Hey, can we trailer it up here and use it?"
Cleaned it up a little bit. Buffed out the paint, put a little leather conditioner on the seats, got it looking nice and good, and they're ready for the movie.
Wow, is that really what that's it? Is that really a Rolls?
That's a Rolls-Royce 1926, built by Rolls-Royce of America in Springfield, Massachusetts. Body was built by Brewster Body Works in New York City. And it's a true limousine.
Wow.
Open the door here for you. You can see this is all original. Original upholstery in this one as well. Would have been quite plush and comfortable when it was new. Electric cab lights, which was a new feature at that time.
That's what I was looking at back there. I was like, "Is that a cab light?"
Electric cigar lighter in here even. It's got the partition here that can roll up and down. It's got the jump seats that can fold in and out, depending on how many people are getting in the car.
And that was high tech.
High tech.
That was high tech back
Rolls
then.
Royce has always been high tech, cutting edge. But it is a monster of a car, big and heavy.
It's
not
huge.
particularly fun to drive.
Is it not really?
I think they wanted to have chauffeurs for cars like this because, of course, no power steering. You had to have a little bit of muscle to turn that wheel.
I'm gonna get a front shot of this. That's a huge car. Now that one looks like it has room.
Yeah. Another feature this one has is it has these little locks on the door, so you could actually lock this car up. That's most cars at that time did not have that. There's even a lockdown on the engine compartment there, so you could lock that. But this one does not have the cool gadget that the new ones of these, the ornament.
It don't take your finger off.
When you turn the car off, it sucks down inside there, so people can't steal it.
Have you seen those videos where people have lost their fingers doing that?
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's some videos where these kids are going around trying to steal them, and you know how it sucks it down, man.
Yeah.
It'll chop. And Rolls-Royce, they did it on purpose like that, and they're open about it. They sucked that thing down with so much force and power. They intended to use cause harm to somebody because they were tired of people trying to steal it.
That is a big.
That is huge.
Big 6-cylinder, but it has dual spark plugs for each of the cylinders. Helps better use the fuel in each one.
It's massive.
Produce a lot of power, which of course was necessary to move such a large car.
It'd be cool to drive all these, but that was
I'll let you drive me around.
Yeah, I was like, it'd be funner to ride than drive this.
I'll sit in the back with my top hat on.
Right.
I can drive.
Now this is cool.
22 Franklin. Franklins are cool because they are always air-cooled motors. And it's an aluminum body car, which really was unheard of at the time. They employed a number of aircraft engineers that designed these cars. And the Franklin Company was on the cutting edge of developing casting techniques for aluminum. And so it's aluminum motor, aluminum body, pretty light car. I can quite easily push this one around by myself.
Really?
Yeah. So the lightweight really helped them to be pretty quick cars, and Franklin's won a lot of races, long distance races, back in the early days of the automobile.
It's cool. Way cool. I bet that thing was probably pretty quick then, since it was so light.
Pretty quick, yeah. And you can see the windshield on it is very aerodynamic.
I was looking at that for that time, like the way they've got it
wedge-
triangled out,
wedge
or wedged
shape,
out.
which is a little unusual, but yeah, it would help move through the air pretty quickly. Yeah.
The dual windshield, so they can open up, I guess, for a little bit of air conditioning.
Air conditioning, that's right.
Keep them cool. What do we have here?
1930 Model A, Ford Cabriolet. And this is really a beautiful car.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
It's got all the bells and whistles, lots of add-ons, and the rock shield and the chrome covers, and
I'm surprised Scorsese didn't have this one.
clock in the rearview mirror there. See that?
Oh, it does. Oh, this is a beautiful car.
It really is.
The leather work with the
It
seat.
was too new to go in Killers of the Flower Moon.
Was it?
Yeah, the movie ended in 25. In fact, the car guy, he badly wanted the 26 Rolls Royce because the 25 and 26 look just the same, but Scorsese said no.
No, it's too. It's just 1 year off. Too new.
It's gonna mess everything up. So didn't use the bros for it.
Yeah, this one missed it, I guess, about 6 to 7 years, did it? It's a beautiful car.
Here's a good thing. I like to point this out to kids because a lot of people don't know, why do we call the trunk of our car the trunk? Well, here's why.
I never even knew that myself.
Yeah, they used to be.
It was really a trunk.
Trunks, yeah.
Wow. I've never. That's neat.
Yeah.
I never even thought about that.
Of course, this one's got the rumble seat too, so this seat here, this thing can go up and down. You close that. And then if you have somebody that has some kids or something you want to put in the back, yeah, open that sucker up. They can hop in there.
I bet this will be fun. This would probably be fun.
Yeah, we keep this one running. We take it in parades and things.
That would be fun.
It's fun and it's easy to maintain. And the great thing about the Model A is any parts you want, you can get brand new, and they're not real expensive.
Really?
Yeah.
They still make aftermarket parts for it.
There's so many of these that were built and collected and restored, and there's a lot of them out there.
Almost 100 years later, and it's still making parts.
It's great.
It is a beautiful car. A beautiful piece of machinery right there, y'all. The chrome on the wheel cover to protect the rubber. It's got the mirrors. Gas cap. It's got the 4-cylinder in it.
It does.
Hey.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm about to know everything. I bet the gravity bowls going to be on the other side, towards the back, at the top. There it is, I told y'all. On the other side, the back at the top. I built one of these for my grandfather, same motor.
Super simple.
It's super simple. And the way that you can get them to idle, you can literally count the cylinders. Just pop, pop, pop.
Yep. If you have them running good, you can lower that idle way down and they'll stay running.
A lot of y'all don't know this. You can put, some of these have where you can put the little American flags in them, but these are lights. The Ford emblem lights up at night.
Now this one has inside there a temperature
gauge. Does this one light up at all?
So this one does not.
Does not.
But if you see the red coming up,
for the mercury in it,
you're getting too hot. Yeah, that's right.
So crank start.
Yeah, this one has electric start.
It's got the upgrade. If you were even back in the 20s and 30s, y'all, these grills they didn't really come with the car. These were upgraded parts. So it's kind of like if you pimped your ride out type thing.
That's right. People have been doing that since the beginning of the automobile.
They really have, and they haven't stopped.
That's right.
Yeah, that's why I was like, oh man, I love the color, the green color. I like this car. I think this car is my favorite out of all of them, y'all.
It's really beautiful.
This one's just a beautiful, beautiful. Look at the handles. I mean, just the detail, actual wood grain on the door panels, dash. Yeah, this one's cool. They have a lot of cool cars here.
1914 Dodge. That is the very first year of the Dodge Brothers Company. This is one of their first models. Most people don't know this, but Dodge Brothers has been partners with Henry Ford in the Ford Motor Company. They helped design the Model T, but they wanted to continually adapt and improve the car, whereas Henry Ford wanted to put his focus and energy into improving production to get the cost down. And so he ended up buying out the Dodge Brothers because they could not reconcile their disagreements. So they took the money from the sale of their portion of Ford and turned around and formed the Dodge Brothers Automobile Company.
That's history I didn't even know. I'm like, so Ford bailed Dodge out and kept them alive.
Well, Ford, really, I would say the Dodge Brothers helped put Ford on the map.
That's okay.
Because they were the engineers, they were the tinkerers that really designed most of that model, the Model T rather.
Wow.
The car that really made Ford. That was really a Dodge Brothers car. And Ford was the businessman. And he stole the idea of the moving assembly line from Oldsmobile, from Mr. Olds.
Mr. Olds. They all stole little ideas from each other.
It absolutely happened all the time back then, and it still happens today.
Whoa, this guy's cool looking.
Yeah, no, that's D.W. Correll.
Is that him?
He was a gun collector, and you can see some of those guns there. Yeah. And we don't have the guns here. The guns, he was actually friends with J.M. Davis, and so many of the guns are now in his Davis museum. Some of them went to D.W.'s sons. He looks like an outlaw, don't he?
Yeah, I was like, he kind of looks spooky in that one. I was like, hey, he kind of looked a little suspicious there.
Right.
All right, so what's this cream color we have over here on the other side of this?
Yeah, that is a 48 Dodge. And that car, apart from the outside paint, is all original. That is the original color of paint. It was just repainted at one point. 43,000 original miles on it.
43 grand. Back then, that was probably a lot of miles for those people to drive, but now it's like, you can do that in a half a year.
Oh, yeah. I bet you can. You can do that in a half a year.
Oh, man, I can but traveling I
Not
do.
me, but you.
I like how aerodynamic they tried making it. Streamline, you know.
Yeah, right.
The windows, look how the windows curve. You know, I'm pretty sure there's going to be some people that are just watching this video thinking, oh, these are just cars, but they don't look at the lines of the car and look at like how the curvature and what just the ideas that these engineers went through to just try to make it more aerodynamic, more aesthetically pleasing to the people's eyes. Plus, I'm sure it's going to help keep the car on the ground, stability, things like that, safety features. Big old
white. That's really one of the best things about this car collection is that we can see how the cars
just
developed.
evolved. Yeah.
How they evolved in those early years.
Now this has the V8 in it.
Yeah, that's right. This is a 35 Ford. It's got the V8.
It's like the gangster car.
The V8 engine produced by Ford was a huge breakthrough in power and performance. And I call this the Bonnie and Clyde car. And there is a famous letter that Clyde Barrow wrote to Henry Ford, thanking him for developing the V8 Ford and saying how he steals one every chance he gets.
They were quick. That was the
'cause
fastest
it's
car.
the
That's why I was
fastest car
like,
on
there's the
road.
gangster car.
Nobody could catch him. This was, of course, during the Depression. The police forces in these,
Well, even though
urban states did not have.
look how wide the tires are back then compared to like how skinny these are. So they definitely had more turning radius,
More stability.
and more stability.
Yeah. And of course, by the 30s, there was a lot more paved roads at that.
Right.
So that's part of.
Easier to get away. I love the V8 on
Didn't
that.
have to worry about getting stuck in ruts on dirt roads quite as much as you did on years. But that's really a beautiful car.
It really
The
is.
grill on that thing kind of looks mean. It's got the suicide doors in the back there.
It just looks Dick Tracy. doesn't it?
Running board there that you could stand on with your Tommy gun.
Just
Cool car.
really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, and has enough power that it's really, out of all these cars, one of the modern cars, because you can get out on the highway, you can go 60 miles an hour, no problem in one of those. So
You ain't catching me, copper.
that's right.
Not catching me. So 29 Stutz. What is this?
29 Stutz. Yeah. So
Never even heard of a Stutz.
Stutz is one of the many car companies that ended up going under during the Depression. There was a great culling of the industry, so to speak.
It looked like a good-looking car.
Yeah, these cars,
You
definitely.
wouldn't think they would go under.
But they were an expensive car. They were high end. And they, when you're only producing, hundreds or even low thousands of cars compared to Ford's producing millions of cars, the efficiency just wasn't there for these smaller companies.
I like
It
it.
is a
I like the
beautiful
design.
car.
It is really beautiful. I like the design of it.
The way it sort of tilts down towards the front there just kind of gives it sort of a
It almost has that mean rat rod vibe for something with class.
Right. And if you look at the glass on this, you can see these lines here. This was an early attempt at safety glass.
Oh, so I was wondering if that was safety glass, why they did that, or if it was a way to try to help with the fog.
Yeah. Safety glass, of course, in early days.
Y'all see these little lines
The
up through
glass in these
here.
cars was just pane, pane glass that when it would break, it would shatter. Sheets of it would go flying here
cut
and there.
people.
Yeah, I mean, there was cases of people being decapitated by that flying glass. So it was a big incentive to try to find it.
Very
safer.
dangerous then.
And give Stutz a nice marketing tool to try to keep business going. They were safer than other cars. But it wasn't really until the 50s when the modern safety glass was invented.
The tempered glass.
Yeah.
That's a neat car, y'all. I never even heard what a Stutz is, but this is. You said that's a 30 down there. The Ford was a 30.
Right.
Yeah, that's definitely my favorite. But other than that, I think this one right here is definitely a neat
And
car.
this hood ornament is just fantastic.
Oh, that is.
And that's Mercury, messenger to the gods.
Man, it just looks mean on that front. Why that nose is so, especially when you stand right here and realize how the nose comes down at an angle and looks like it's got the eyebrow on.
Yep, coming at you, isn't it?
You figured they would have sold the crap out of these things, just from the looks of it.
Right.
That has man's car written all over it. Yeah, that's like, man, that's the man's car.
Yeah, and I call that the Capone car. Capone, we got Bonnie and Clyde, we got Dick Tracy.
Dick Tracy. Yeah, this one, the cream one almost reminded me of Mr. Miyagi
Oh yeah, right.
on that
Wax
Karate
on, wax
Kid.
off,
Yeah,
right?
the Karate Kid. I
Yeah.
was like, man, this reminds me of the Karate Kid car. Of course, we got some cool stuff. Definitely a cash register.
Adding machine.
Adding machine. I should say cash register, no drawer on it. Telephone. In case any of you youngsters don't know what this is a telephone. So what it did, you just got on there, picked it up, had a little thing on the side, you'd ring it and it'd go to the operator and you tell the operator who you want to talk to. Your operator would plug you in and that's how you talk to people. So
No.
now you just get on your iPhones and all of y'all are spoiled.
Yeah, and a lot of times you have what was called a party line. You shared your phone line with your neighbors.
Right. I remember that in the 80s.
Your neighbors could get on there and listen to your phone calls.
Yeah. I remember one time back in the 80s being on the phone with the girl and one of my buddies. He just started laughing. He was like, oh, I was like, man, what are you doing on here? He's like, oh. Little coin collection, got some steins. What are these old for oil? Oil jars or what are these?
Yeah, those are oil. That's correct. Yeah, would have that in service station for topping off people's oil.
Now this just looks like me and this looks cool. Look at this, y'all. It's like a mummified cat. It's straight mummified. Oh, it is. It says Fluffy the mummified cat. That is so wild and weird and cool.
He's got his little lizard buddy down here. That's Larry the lizard.
Larry the lizard. Larry used to work for Geico until he had to retire.
That's right.
It looks like we got the Texaco gas pump over here. Is that a self-playing piano?
It is, yeah. Let's get a video of that.
That's cool.
So it's called a Flair piano. And of course, you can play it just like a normal piano, but if you don't know how to play a piano, as I do not know how to play a piano, you just flip switch here.
What?
And it's going to play
And it
itself.
works. Whoa. If y'all have never seen one of these, this is the first time I've ever seen a player piano. This is kind of freaky. This is freaky, dude. This is...
Not a ghost this time.
No, but that's just...
It's got the words there so you can sing along.
That is so cool. Yeah, that would be freaky. Explain that again.
Okay, so this thing has underneath here this bar with all these little holes, and it's trying to suck air through the holes there, and that each one of those little holes corresponds to a different key on the piano. And so when the paper is on there, most of the holes are blocked by the paper, and so the keys won't play. But when it has a hole, it can suck the air, and it knows
And then that's
press
when it pulls
that key. Yeah. And so the length of the hole, you notice some of the holes are longer vertically, longer or shorter, and that determines the length of how long it holds
the sustain
key.
of the
Yeah,
note.
right. Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. I didn't even know how those things even work. So it all works off of air then.
Yep. Pneumatic.
Just everything. They kept it simple back then.
That's right.
All you engineers out there, maybe that's what we need to do now. Maybe y'all just need to keep it simple. Keep it simple and get back to just the way it used to be, and probably sell a lot more.
That's right.
The gas pump is really cool.
Yeah, they call it a visible gas pump. Would have had gas up there that you could actually see, and part of the reason they did this because the customer could see that there was the gas wasn't.
If the pump was full or empty or what.
Well, and you could see, you could see how much you were getting, but you could also see if the gas looked
contaminated or whatever.
If there was crud in the gas, or if there was water in the gas or something like that, you could see it.
Brass handle.
And so you would typically there'd be an attendant there, and they would use this handle to pump the gas to fill this reservoir up. So there would be a big tank under the ground, same thing they have now, but they pump it from the ground up to here. Once it's there, it's just gravity feed from there down into the car.
Oh, wow. Well, I want to get out of your hair, and actually, you know what? Before we get out of that, we got to get a stamp on that book.
Let's do it.
So we're going to go get a stamp right quick, and then we're going to call it another episode and get out of this place and get out of this gentleman's hair and get to the next location. But before that, like I said, let's go get this stamp. Yeah, y'all. Yeah, every single one of y'all that are watching this. This is a small museum, but very big. They've got a lot of stuff to look at. The rocks were just absolutely amazing. These cars are just unbelievable. It's really cool that back here. No, it's over here. That was used over here in Killers of the Flower Moon. This is one of my favorite personal movies I like. But we got the rolls, the packing, with the O's, caddy, another O's, the Loco, one of the very first cars. How cool is that? One of the very first cars ever to be invented. You know, that is just absolutely amazing. But, well, time for me to get out of here. We got the book stamped, and it's time to get to the next location. So thank you for joining me here. Make sure you go find the other locations. They're going to be somewhere. But anyway, go find them, and we'll see you at the next location. Love ya. Stay freaky.